So China just figured out how to make car batteries out of table salt, like the stuff on your fries. Meanwhile, Tesla stock is doing whatever it's doing because the CEO is busy posting, and a small lab at Columbia just dropped a chemistry trick that might save the entire American lithium industry from getting absolutely flattened. All in the same week. Cool, cool, cool. Nothing is happening at all. Hi. Welcome back. If you're new here, this is the channel where I read actual science papers so you don't have to, and then I get progressively more confused about what's going on in the world. Today we're talking about batteries, because apparently the geopolitical future of clean energy is now a race between two completely different chemistries, and one of them, I cannot stress this enough, is salt. Quick check-in. If any of this is making you smarter, hit subscribe. Smack the like button. It tells the algorithm I'm not just yelling into a void, and I would deeply appreciate it. So let's get into it before I start spiraling. Okay. The setup. Lithium. We need a lot of it. It's in every EV battery, every grid-scale battery, every laptop, every phone. Basically every device that has annoyed you in the last decade is full of lithium. And the way we currently get it is, and I want you to really sit with this, we pump salty underground water into giant ponds in the desert, and we wait for the sun to evaporate it. For up to 2 years. 2 years. That's the process. We're using a method that a medieval salt farmer would recognize, and we're using it to power the future. Beautiful. It only works in flat, dry, sunny places like Chile's Atacama Desert and parts of Nevada. It drains water from regions that are already running out of water. The local communities are not having a great time. And speaking of not having a great time, Tesla. Once the face of EVs, now mostly the face of what is he doing on the timeline today. Sales are sliding in Europe, sliding in the US, and brand sentiment is, let's just say, vibrating at a frequency I have never witnessed before, which matters here, because the entire American EV strategy was kind of betting on Tesla being the cool one. So, enter Columbia Engineering. A team led by Professor Nguyen Yin Yip just published a new technique called S3E, which stands for Switchable Solvent Selective Extraction. And the chemistry on this is actually really clever. I'm not even being sarcastic for once. They use a solvent, basically a liquid, that behaves differently depending on temperature. At room temperature, you mix it with the salty brine and it grabs the lithium. You heat it up, and it spits out purified lithium plus water and resets itself to be reused. It's selective too. Brines are a chemical soup of sodium, potassium, magnesium, lithium, all in one nasty cocktail. S3E pulled out lithium 10 times more selectively than sodium and 12 times more selectively than potassium. And it can run on low-grade waste heat. You don't need a fancy energy source, just leftover heat from something else. And here's where it gets juicy. There's a place in California called the Salton Sea. It is sitting on enough lithium to make over 375 million EV batteries. And current extraction methods straight up cannot touch it. The geology is wrong. You can't evaporate the brine. It's just been sitting there for decades like a giant geological middle finger. S3E could finally unlock it. Yip himself said, quote, "There's no way solar evaporation alone can match future demand, and there are promising lithium-rich brines, like those in California's Salton Sea, where this method simply can't be used at all. Cool. Cool guy. I like him. Now, Here's where the plot thickens. Because while America is figuring out how to extract lithium from a lake in California, China just said, quote, "What if we didn't need lithium at all?" CATL, the biggest battery manufacturer on Earth, announced their sodium-ion batteries are going into mass production in Q4 of this year. Sodium, as in salt, as in the most abundant element on the entire planet that you can literally scoop out of the ocean. The new CATL pack has an energy density of 175 watt-hours per kilogram, a 500-kilometer range, works in negative 40-degree weather, and is projected to be about 30% cheaper than current lithium iron phosphate batteries. The first cars are rolling out this year. CATL is also building over 3,000 swap stations across 140 cities. They're not exploring this, they're shipping it. Real question for you in the comments. Would you buy a salt-powered EV if it was 30% cheaper than a lithium one? Or does "my car runs on salt" sound too much like a Mad Max plot? I genuinely want to know. So here's the bonus insight nobody's framing this way. These two technologies aren't actually fighting each other. Sodium-ion is going to dominate cheap cars, grid storage, and cold climates. Lithium is still better for premium, long-range, lightweight stuff. The real story is that the entire industry just got a massive de-risking. Whoever loses one market wins the other. Except the country that doesn't have either of them, which, hopefully not us. To recap, Colombia just published S3E, a temperature-switching solvent that pulls lithium from brines current methods can't even touch, potentially unlocking the Salton Sea's 375 million battery stash. Meanwhile, China is 6 months away from mass-producing salt batteries that are cheaper, cold-tolerant, and good enough for most cars. And Yip put it perfectly. Quote, "We talk about green energy all the time, but we rarely talk about how dirty some of the supply chains are. That's the whole game. Clean energy is only as clean as where the materials come from. If you got something out of this, hit the like button, drop a comment, and subscribe if you're new. And if you really want to support the channel, consider becoming a fellow developer on Patreon. You get early access to videos before they drop, and you genuinely keep this channel alive. To every single patron right now, you matter. Your support matters. Thank you for keeping the lights on. Literally. Want to go deeper? Hit the Binge playlist. I've already queued up the next one. Catch you there.